what was the motivation to make it different than just like a Model S?
I mean, I think, it's like, what's cool about a truck? Trucks are tough. And like, okay, what's tougher than a truck? A tank. What about a tank from the future? Okay. Now you have a tank from the future.
Okay.
Yeah. That's bulletproof.
Yeah.
And how's that compared to, it's way tougher than a regular truck.
Look, it's fucking cool.
Yeah.
There's no doubt.
That's an armored
having
personnel
something that's
character from the
bulletproof.
future. That shit's being like a Halo with a rocket launcher in the back.
Have you thought about doing something like that?
Somebody's going to do it for sure.
For military use? Yeah. Seems like it.
I mean, I don't know. That sounds like it'd be fun. I mean, you should like, cruising around the field and like lobbing, shooting rockets.
Now, is there ever a possibility that these things are going to be solar powered? Is that someday? Is the solar technology going to get to a point where
it's kind of a surface area issue? So, I mean, I think we could possibly put the cover of the truck bed, put some solar cells in that. So if you just leave it out in the sun, probably bring, recharges a few miles a day type of thing.
Oh, it would only be a few miles.
Yeah.
But what about one day? Is it possible that technology could evolve to the point where they could extract more? No? Really?
No, it's so there's about 1 kilowatt per square meter of solar energy, and then you're going to get probably 25% efficiency. So you got 200 watts per square meter, and then that's assuming that you're normal to the sun. So like you're at right angles, basically, like are you facing the sun or not? So when you add all those things up, you say how many square meters can you really get, and then how many watt hours per mile. So it's basically, if you could do 10 miles a day, you'd be lucky.
Really?
Yeah.
And that's not going to change?
No.
Wow. That sucks. It'd be cool if it just ran. I mean, is it possible to make a car entirely of solar panels? Like the entire surface of it, solar panels? Like in a place like L.A. or somewhere where it's never cloudy? And drive around in that thing?
No, you're going to burn off energy faster than you can drive. Like, if you don't drive that often, that's a different story.
The only option is to have a solar paneled home and extract the power that way and charge your car.
Solar panel room house got a lot of area.
Yeah.
So, now you could possibly have like some, solar thing that unfurls, that has a lot more surface area.
So when you park it at work or something like that, it can unfurl. Yeah.
But it just needs area.
Right.
Like, so like I said, think about like maybe 200 watts a square meter, maybe 20 watts a square foot, something like that.
Now, the range of the new cars is much longer.
Yes.
Like, what is the range of the standard Model S that's available right now? It's like 300 and...
Yeah, 350, 360. I don't know. It's a lot.
And what
actually, the new long-range Model S is over 400-mile range.
The new one. But
even the old one was even 400 miles. The new one's 400 miles, too.
But the Plaid will get you up to...
So the current Plaid is going to be around 400 miles range. There's Plaid Plus. That's maybe a year from now. That'll be on the order of 500 miles. But that's a lot. I hear drive 500 miles anyway.
Well, if you're driving across the country.
Yeah. Well, it's pretty rare. I mean, like...
Yeah, for most commuters. It's rare.
Yeah. I mean, even if you're driving 100 miles an hour, like it's still, you're still going to be drive for a while before you run out of battery.
And the truck, what is the Cybertruck's range going to be?
We have to pick a range, actually, for the initial version. It'll be some number over 300 miles.
Now, when you say pick a range, is it in terms of like what the battery array that you put in?
Yeah, so like what's the pack size?
So do you have to take into account like how much weight it's going to add, how long it's going to take to charge?
Yeah. I mean, there's like basically the things that matter are the frontal area times the drag coefficient for aerodynamic drag, and then rolling resistance, which is a function of mass, and the tire efficiency. So this has a big frontal area. It's not very aerodynamic, and the tires are not super. They're not optimized for long range.
It looks very aerodynamic. The truck. Like
if I actually
as
don't
a moron,
want, you don't want sharp angles. You don't want sharp angles.
See, that's the problem. It looks to me, I'll be like, that's slicing right through like a knife.
Um,
You want it rounded.
you want it rounded.
Yeah.
So you want the air to have like smooth, like if you're a little air particle, you don't want the bumps.
Right.
You want like smooth, just like you're driving over the car, no bumps,
Right.
just easy going. Sharp angles are bad for aero.
So that aero will contribute to the lack of range. So it'll minimize the range somewhat.
It'll have a drag coefficient that's pretty good for a truck. Because the enclosing the bed at an angle, that helps a lot. Like normal trucks going down the highway, it's like a barn door.
Right.
You know?
Right.
I mean,
It's like having a parachute in the back.
you might as well be flying it. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like not far different from driving with a parachute.
Yeah.
So you can think of like drag as basically, it's like the integrated pressure profile over the car. So if you create a low pressure zone in the back of your car where you don't like fill in the gap, like you're cruising through the air, you're making a hole through the air, and the air is trying to fill in the gap. And if you've got like a sharp transition into the truck bed, it's a big low pressure zone basically, and that's bad for drag. So having the sloped back, where that's got the truck bed cover, that's very helpful. But the sharp angles are not helpful.
So the range of that truck is yet to be determined. You're trying to figure it out.
Man, it'll be over 300 miles.
What about the Roadster?
I mean, some of these things we got to decide, like, what's actually the best product? You know, how much range do you really want? You know, and if you ask people that say, well, I want 600 miles range. I'm like, okay, well, that means most of the time you're holding around a battery pack you're not going to use. So
And it'll slow you down. It'll inhibit handling.
Yeah, it's like others like, why not have a car that's got a fuel tank that has 2,000 miles range? Like go and fill it up like once every 6 months or every 3 months or something.
Right.
But people they basically figured out like actually carrying that much fuel around is not it's not worth it.
Right.
So I think there's some of the stuff you can do for kind of like bragging rights and but then bragging rights are going to get old fast. So it's more like, what are you going to like on a day-to-day basis? What maximizes the area under the curve of owner happiness? So it'll have enough range that you'll never have to worry about range. Let me put it that way.